I wonder how many people just in fitness, I know in endurance, it's big where there's a lot of people with addictions and there's a lot of people with mental health issues. But I even just wonder with people that have pushed, I wonder is it like 70% or 80% of the people that have done things, physically that have probably also had, some monkeys on their back, emotionally, mentally?
It's an important question because I'm always very conscious and trying to be self-aware that I don't want to replace one negative behavior pattern and disguise it with something that can be dressed up as positive, but the way you interact with it is actually negative. And this is where the gym is my therapy, running is my therapy, the iron's my therapy.
Maybe some of the David Goggins thoughts and things like that.
Yeah, so that is something that I actively push against because I think everything that Goggins says when it comes to hard work, when it comes to discipline, when it comes to commitment, when it comes to taking accountability for yourself and being responsible, entirely valid. But the lens in which it is presented to the person receiving the information is through his experience. And his experience is a unique one, and it's a demanding one, it's a traumatic one, and that is not the lens that the person receiving the information is experiencing.
He's gotten the shit beat out of him, and so he's beating the shit out of himself.
And the way it comes across to me is he's essentially replacing one form of traumatic existence with another one. And it's how much of it's for marketing or not, I don't know. But it's things like when he says, I'm not proud of many achievements in my life, but I'm proud of this newest book. And for somebody who's achieved so much and has done so many things.
And has helped so many people.
Exactly. For him to say he's not proud of that, whether it's for marketing purposes or not, I don't know. For people that are proud of things in their life, that might make them feel like they haven't done enough. And I think all of the things that Goggins says in terms of the forward motion, the sort of healthier habits, the discipline, the hard work that we'll all buy into, I think the thread of DNA that's missing is the emotional awareness that allows you to understand when to take your foot off the gas a little bit so that you can put it down harder the next time.
I think also something we're maybe not paying attention to is his incredible skill set. Like he had to obviously work for that skill set. I'm not saying that he just had it, but that's something that's really important for people that are trying to push themselves. Maybe your skill set's just not there yet, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, it's earned over time, isn't it? But his career is unbelievable. That's what I mean. Is how can Billy, the computer programmer that lives in Nashville, that trains 5 days a week, try and put himself in the lens of David Goggins' experience and expect him to live his life like that? Because we so desperately as human beings want to put ourselves in boxes or tie ourselves into certain ideologies or attach certain labels to things because it makes us feel comfortable and like we belong.
Yeah.
But the lens of experience that Goggins presents his information through is through the lens of his own experience, which is one that's very traumatic. And it does come across as if it's one negative behavior being replaced with a outwardly healthy behavior because he's running. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that running through bleeding gooches and shitting yourself around 100-miler is actually something that the average person should be aspiring to emulate. I think doing the preparation, if the context of your life allows you to better prepare, I don't think people should suffer for the sake of suffering. People should suffer on their own terms.
Patrick family, how's it going? Now, we've been talking about taping your mouth shut when you're asleep forever. We used to use this really cheap 3M micropore tape, but we've partnered with Hostage Tape because it is the most comfortable mouth tape on the market, even if you have facial hair like myself and my friend Andrew over here. If you snore, you have sleep apnea, you literally are breathing through your mouth when you sleep, you need to use Hostage Tape. Andrew, how can they get it?
You guys got to head over to hostagetape.com/powerproject. When you guys go there, you'll receive free shipping plus a free, really freaking cool bedside tin to put all the hostage tapes in. Again, that's at hostagetape.com/powerproject. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
I think that could possibly be what people love so much about him is he's like, he's not trying to explain himself any further. He's not trying to say, like, I haven't heard all of his messages, but I think like, he's just that extreme. He's on that extreme level. Much like when we were younger and we saw the pictures in the bodybuilding magazines. The pictures in the bodybuilding magazines weren't of amateur bodybuilders, and it wasn't of natural bodybuilders. It was a very specific type of bodybuilders. They were the best in the world. They were, if you weren't top 5, top 10, you weren't in these magazines. And so we saw that. That's what he aspired to be. And maybe that wasn't great. Maybe maybe that led some people to do steroids, and maybe that led to other
here's
things. But
Phil Heath's diet plan, here's Phil Heath's training, and then
Yeah.
you get the person that's 3 weeks into bench pressing for the first time going and doing that training
I
program.
think Goggins is just like being himself and just going out there and just fucking crushing it and sharing some of it.
Yep.
And then it gets interpreted all these different ways.
That's the point that I think's really important. Yeah,
We hold them way too high. And we hold anybody, me, anyone else. We hold a lot of people to too high of a standard. We shouldn't like be grasping on. But I understand what you're saying is we want to associate ourselves. Like, I'm an endurance guy, so I'm with David Goggins, or I'm carnivore guy, so I'm with all these thoughts, and I can't have any other free thoughts of my own. I'm a fan of Dr. Sean Baker, and I'm all in on everything that he does.
I think it's like, to circle back to what you said, is I've got an enormous amount of respect for the man. The skill set's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
It's the interpretation that's the problem, because you're allowed to take. It's like political ideology.
Yeah.
The fact that it's very difficult to take certain elements of what a political party says one day and have an open discourse with somebody about why that element's good, but maybe that element isn't. But if somebody hears that you take one element of what this side says, they will put you in that side, tie you with a certain brush, and then the discourse can't happen. In the same way that I will openly say I enormously respect Goggins. I take a lot of what he says as very valuable information for all, which is discipline, hard work, commitment, accountability, responsibility, and embracing adversity. But then doing that without an emotional awareness of why you feel the way that you do, why you're doing the things that you do, or knowing when to scale back to be able to scale forwards, and knowing how these things fit within the broader ecosystem of your life, not within the lens of Goggins's. That's the thing, because he is on a pedestal and people interpret it in a way that this is a way of living where I must be suffering, otherwise I'm not working hard enough. And that nearly killed me. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I live like that. That was my mentality. That was my methodology for life. And I woke up in a puddle of my own vomit with footsteps outside my door, wishing that I had
A
puddle of your own vomit. That's how people die, right?
Yeah.
Like they aspirate, I think it's called, right?
Yeah. So I think what happened is essentially I'd got rid of the method of trying to end my own life, but I was so intoxicated that things were moving at different paces. So my brain was moving quicker than my body was, and that moment is something I'll carry with me forever. But it's why I'm so passionate about taking the good elements of the way that I used to exist, which have moved me forwards, but knowing that they're only valuable if they're underpinned by a foundation of insight and self-awareness. Because you've got multiple businesses, you've got children, you've got loads of things going on. If you didn't have the emotional awareness to know when you need to adjust things, or when you need to change course of navigation, or when you need to spend more time with your kids and more time on this, more time on that, you'd work yourself into a hole. And I think the way that if people are desperate for a savior, Goggins can provide that, and it gives them the outlet of, if I just keep working and working and working, that will disguise the reason that I need a savior in the first place. Whereas what the person should actually be doing is unpacking the reason why they feel that way in their day-to-day life anyway, which might require the help of a professional. It might require speaking to your parents. It might require speaking to friends around you.
Who was your savior?
The French bulldog, to start with. Odie, the pig dog.
Power Project family, we appreciate you checking out this clip. Check out another one. Just go check out another one. Or comment down below and let us know what you liked about this one. But we love you guys, and we're going to keep bringing you the heat. So comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, okay? Peace.